Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Urban Leadership Coach podcast. Good morning.
Amen. Good
And
morning.
we're going to just turn the rest of our opener over into the hands of our co-host, Pastor or Overseer-elect Clay Burston. And I hope and pray everybody had a great Thanksgiving. But we're asking everyone to please share this live. We're doing a personal interview, and our host is going to be interviewing me, overcoming the discouragement and the dark places that leaders go to at times in ministry. And is depression a lack of faith? So we're going to just try and have a conversation about some of these things, and just using my own life of 19 years in ministry. And so, Overseer.
Good morning, everyone. So good to see you. Happy holidays and all of that good stuff. Good morning, Pastor Ray.
Good morning. Good morning.
Amen. Amen. So I'm excited about this. Amen. And as she's already stated, please do us a big favor and share this live. I believe in my heart and in my spirit that someone is going to be blessed by today's interactions. So Pastor Ray is the pastor of the Kingdom Life Worship Center, right?
Kingdom Life Christian Center.
Christian Center. Amen. Amen. And then how long have you been pastoring Kingdom Life?
So I've been pastoring Kingdom Life Christian Center for 19 years.
Woo! Almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
So with that being said, before we get into the the meat of the conversation, so you're a mother. How many kids do you have?
I'm the mother of 4 children.
Nice.
And the youngest is 38 and the oldest is 41. Yeah.
Whew. Amen. Beautiful, beautiful. So you're a mom, a businesswoman, a pastor, and all the above. Amen. And a good friend.
Yeah.
So we thank God for you. So with that being said, we're in this healing series, as you know. So how would you define the word healing? So when you hear healing, what comes to mind?
Wholeness, peace, serenity, growth, health, good health, rather.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that come to mind. Yeah. When I think of
absolutely.
healing. Yeah.
So I'm sure. So what has it been like being a pastor and a parent at the same time?
Well, actually, when I became a pastor, all of my children had already gone off to college. But at the same time, they were all young and new in college. So that really was a lot of, single mother paying for, all of these different schools that my children were in, different schools around the country. And it wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy. And I know that it was the grace of God that assisted me in getting that accomplished. That was something that was in my heart concerning my children. Something that I didn't get the opportunity to do until later in life. But God, saw fit that it was accomplished, that they all went to some of the best schools in the country, as a matter of fact.
Amen. 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 So how did you balance pastoring and being a mother? How did you balance all of that?
Well, I can't even really say that I had any balance. Because I don't think I did. And, a lot of that was very, very difficult, and I think that at that time, I pretty much believe I neglected, at that moment, more my family more than ministry.
Yeah. And a lot of high value high successful people have the same testimony that that it's hard to build significance in the earth and also be this super kind of all in,
right?
But so that is a commonality amongst most driven people, because in order to achieve what you've achieved and do what God has called you to do, it requires a lot of time and mental energy and focus and all that kind of stuff, and no nonsense kind of attitude. The enemy always trying to stop whatever God's plan is. So I'm sure there's someone watching right now who's probably going through the same thing.
Right. Absolutely.
But it's one of those things, and normally the children will understand it when they try to mimic what they saw you do.
Right.
And you understand, 100%. So with that being said, pastoring, one of the biggest, I think, challenges between the pastor and members is that people don't see pastors as human beings.
No, they don't.
I think, they don't see us as humans, as people who have feelings and thoughts and concerns and all that kind of stuff. Has there been a challenge for you that maybe sometimes people have handled you in a way because they feel like, oh, that's pastor, she'll be okay, or has that happened to you in your pastorate?
Oh, that's always been the situation, for the entire 19 years, because even in the moments when I almost lost my life, even in the hospital, people would still reach out while I was laying in the hospital bed and, send a message, say, pray for me, or, send a message, or even try to call to let me know what may be occurring in their lives. And so people don't fall back from that. Even when they know that you're in one of maybe the greatest crises in your life, people do not fall back from that. A lot of times it's very hard for people to separate the two, because I think that they hold pastors or shepherds, they hold us to a different, in a different perspective, and so they see us carrying weight and they see us doing it so well. And so it's hard sometimes, and not that people are doing it purposely, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just that we look like that help or that strength that people may need in the time of their own crisis, even though we a lot of times be in a crisis mode ourselves. I want to say this, that there's a lot of pastors that I don't think that you're never not in some type of crisis mode, because as a leader, as a pastor or a shepherd, you're actually a caregiver. Right? You're a continual caregiver. So when you are a caregiver to someone, you actually inherit, or take on people's traumas. And so, I think that people don't even realize that the things that people have gone through and the things that we have had to see people through are also the things that we have ourselves experience with them more than they think. Yeah,
very much so. And I think I would love to own a shirt that says "Pastors are people too."
Yeah, and pastors are people too. Yeah, that's really important.
And because even I think even in like separating from our churches or our ministries. People don't consider sometimes, the pains that or the how we handle this, like this emotionally, and because as a pastor, I can speak for myself. There are moments where there are people who have left my church where I'm still years later trying to manage it emotionally, while at the same time trying to pastor and lead a people and be a family man. Has that been hard for you, managing, because you are a pastor,
right?
Where you love people from a real place. Has that been a challenge for you as well?
Oh man, I think that's one of my greatest challenges. I think that's one of my greatest challenges is, being able to, because I think that when we started this series out on healing, the series started with Overseer Night, and the series started with can you heal in the place where you've been hurt? And I think that pastors, they don't even have an option. You understand what I'm saying? Where other people get to leave, they get to move on. And pastors, wherever you've been assigned, and see, we take that to heart. Wherever God has put us, that's where we stay. So even in the places, people don't know we're hurt all the time. So even in the places where we've been hurt, we don't get to leave that place. We have to work through it right in that place. And we got to be able to still love the same people who actually hurt us, care for them, be there for them when they call on us, and that is a very hard place to be in, because being human is a part that we always have to allow our self-control to kick in, because sometimes when we want to respond as a human to certain situations, we know that we have to allow the fruit of the Spirit to manifest more than we can allow our flesh. You understand what I'm saying? To manifest. So we can't always respond in the way that we really feel like we want to respond, because there is a response to things that I think everybody has the feeling first. But you got to, as a leader, you have to be mindful that you work that thing out within yourself before you even respond. Now, do we fail at it at times? Absolutely. And that's where I don't think that the people give leaders room enough to sometimes fail. You know what I'm saying? At being who they have been called to be. Even though we pick people up thousands of times from the places where they have failed. You understand what I'm saying? And we push them and we tell them that they can keep on going. So there are so many times where, we have to, heal in the place where we've been hurt. And the whole thing about doing this interview on today, and again, I just hope that those of you who are watching, please share this, because I really wanted to pour. This was something that we were going to do a while ago, and I really wanted to pour out my heart, because as I was telling my brother, Overseer Clay, I've been in a very dark place for a very long time, but nobody would ever know that. Because why? Because I'm pushing through what I'm feeling in the place that is really killing me. You understand what I'm saying? The place that is really hurting me, the place that broke me. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the situations as pastors that we find ourselves in, we would have never been in if we were not assigned to this. The experiences that I've had, you understand what I'm saying, would have had nothing to do with the life that I would have chosen for myself, and so it's deep. It's very, very deep. And I felt like this was a conversation that needed to be happening. Look, I can't talk about Paul. I can't talk about Peter. I can only talk about Danette. You understand what I'm saying? And what Danette is experiencing. And people don't even know that I've been depressed for the past couple years. It just has increased. I think that the depression has increased all through the pandemic. And then we didn't just go through a pandemic. Me, myself, went through a very serious, almost 8.5 hours of surgery, having my whole insides rearranged again, because that was my 4th surgery, you know what I mean? And so, and then, even in that state, like after being in the hospital for a month, coming home, and then ministering to people the entire time online, which was a very difficult thing to do, because we've never done that before. We've never been separated from the saints before. We've never been in a place where we couldn't fellowship in the way that we had become accustomed to fellowship. You understand what I'm saying? So it was just so many firsts last year. And when you're dealing with first in your life, some things